Hi everybody, and welcome to our webinar today on how to find out if a chatbot would bring value to your organisation. I'm Barbara Stewart, I'm part of the marketing team at Enghouse, and here today as panellists we have Richard Winterburn, Business Development and Major Accounts Manager at Enghouse Interactive, and Patrick Gallagher, who's Managing Director at Creative Virtual. Today we'll be covering the workshop on how to identify whether a chatbot could help with the way you run your organisation, particularly your customer experience side, and how you can identify and define the ROI that you can get out of that. So just as an intro to our speakers today, we have Richard, who has 25 plus years of experience in information technology and communications. Richard's passionate about helping organisations to transform their customer contact processes and develop and grow their engagement teams with the best fit technology options, whatever their needs are. Patrick has spent 30 plus years in the customer experience industry himself, doing software development, project delivery and customer support. And those years include 13 years with Enghouse and 7 with Creative Virtual, where he is now. Patrick is passionate about business transformation in the CX space in particular through artificial intelligence. So now I'll hand over to Richard to take us through.
Thanks for that, Barbara. I'll tell you a little bit about Enghouse here. I won't spend too much time on these, so we've got some really interesting stuff to get through to you in a little while. But Enghouse has been a player in the contact center market space for well over 20 years. Across the globe, we have over 2,000 employees, and approximately 1 million people use our technology every day. It's a global organization, and we put about 15% of our turnover annually into R&D, and much of that R&D takes place in our APAC region. As you can see, we're stock exchange listed on the Canadian Stock Exchange, and we're valued at $3 billion, which means the value of the organization has more than doubled in the last 3 years. Just over to you, Pat.
Thank you, Richard, and thank you, Barbara, for that lovely introduction, and welcome to everybody. Just a little bit of background. Creative Virtual has been doing virtual agent conversational AI for many, many years, and I think it's our experience that can really help our customers make a difference in working out how to deploy their bot and putting together the right business case to achieve a successful bot. I'd call out a number of awards that our technology has won over the period, and you can see many of those highlighted there. But I think the awards that I'm most proud of are the ones that our partners and customers have won for the deployments that we've created, making excellent customer experience, making innovative customer experience journeys for their members and customers. Anyway, I'll talk a little bit more about that during the call. Back to you, Rich.
Thanks, Pat. Now, some of you may have attended or watched the webinar that we ran a few weeks ago discussing the results of the Contact Babel Australia and New Zealand CC Industry Report. That's available online, and we'll share a link on that later on. One of the sections centered around automation and bots, and the question was asked, have you deployed or have you considered deploying a bot? And these are the results from our APAC region. And you can see in there that perhaps Australia is a little bit ahead of New Zealand in the bot adoption, with about 20% of people already using chatbots, which is the same. But the plans for people to deploy within the next 12 months are about 30% higher in Australia. So that's an interesting statistic there, but you can clearly see that the amount of people who are looking at putting them in is quite significant. Across the region, there were 59 respondents from Australia and 44 from New Zealand. and a great range of organisations from public sector there to business. We had quite a successful response. So on to today's objectives and the essential questions. What will a chatbot do for your organisation and your customers? And how do you put a value on that? And how do you build it into a business plan? Well, I suppose one of the key things here that a bot will bring you is the 24/7 coverage. Now, that's not something that's easy to present when you've got agents that are going to have to be on the phone or on the other end of a web chat. It's quite difficult, quite expensive to do, and you've got some health and safety considerations sometimes if those members of staff have to be on site. And another thing is the ability to expand the usage of your website. One organisation we spoke to mentioned that more than 60% of their interactions were initially via their website. So if your customers are already on the website, it makes sense to provide access assistance right there rather than forcing them to swap channels quite blindly and sometimes inelegantly. So if they need to go from a web chat or a website to a telephone call, or even a web chat to a telephone call, that's not always very convenient. And a bot really helps to ease customers between those channels. It allows them to people to escalate to an agent at the right time with relevant information, pass through the bot to the agent, and we don't have anything. It's really key not to have bot jail. Pat's going to tell you a little bit more about that later on. And I guess a really important thing is that a bot is brilliant at handling FAQs. So where your agents might be answering the same questions every day, and probably they may be a little tired of doing that, a bot can really handle those fantastically well, and customers love it because of the speed of response. So that your time of response is instant. The call volumes are reduced to your agents, so eventually wait times are reduced because the agents are more free. 20% or more, in fact, of those calls, FAQ calls, are handled, or 20% of all calls are FAQ calls, are all handled by the bot. So your human wait times are shorter. Customer satisfaction therefore increases, and that means that staff are happier because they're not dealing with complaints. There's less tedium. The staff are more engaged because they're getting more interesting calls through, and overall your response accuracy and consistency is improved as well. So a bot utilizes and provides a centrally maintained source of information. It's a single source of truth for customers and agents, because your bot can be presented to customers as you'd expect, but you can also present a bot to an agent. And there's a beauty in that that allows you to get your agents a little quicker up to speed. Perhaps we'll talk about that later on as well. And finally, from this slide, and I know Pat's got some feedback on this as well, but the bot offers new insights about your operation. What I like to call the real truth about what's going on, and questions that your customers want to ask that you might not know about. But this is a great way of finding out what they're really interested in. So to quantify it, now we understand all of these things and where the savings and value can come from. How do we actually really put a number on that, or a value on that? So people are increasingly expecting a 24/7 response. Customers are expecting a 24/7 response. In fact, a tire retailer we spoke to had so many inquiries in the evening that their CC manager was working right the way through to 11 o'clock at night, quite busy. So that's a long day for your staff to be doing that. And they want to present that professional and good response, give a great customer experience. But it does make for a long day if you can't automate it or provide it somehow. Is there a need to service your customers outside of office hours, or extend the current hours of operation? What's the risk if you don't provide this coverage? Will your customers go somewhere else? Does one of your competitors have a bot? Perhaps they're thinking about putting one in. And what would be the cost to provide that 24-hour support. You've got to think about the agent wages. You've got to think about the supervision of those agents to make them safe. And, you know, it's additional supervisor actions anyway, because you're going to be listening to the calls that are going on. And so there's that increase as well. And so that's, you know, overall looking at your resourcing and then your availability. Could a bot help? Probably can. Are there any other times of the day that a bot could adequately fill? So consider that. And also consider that your staff can be redistributed to other tasks, maybe more difficult things that are going on in the organization, more challenging things. So this, you know, that's a good way of allowing your staff to enhance and progress in the business. FAQ answering, this is a hard return on investment. So we're looking at the numbers here. Note that results are more immediate if the customers are already coming to the website and using web chat. So if you've not driven people there already, then you can start to do that by pushing them through your auto attendant, put an announcement in there that's played to all callers and say, go to the website, meet our new bot, and ask your questions there. How many inquiries are made multiple times per day? Try find that out. That always, you know, how many of those inquiries have the same answer to evaluate how many frequently asked questions you've actually got. Even if the answer changes from time to time, that's okay. We can update the bot really quickly. You can change that source of information so that your agents have it and the bot has it at the same time. Do you currently analyze the inquiries you receive? You know, several ways of tracking that. In the contact center world, we use wrap-up codes or call tagging, or you might actually have a manual checklist. And perhaps as part of your training, you might know certain types of questions that customers always ask. So you've got those resources to look at to pull out those frequently asked questions. And then have a think about how many times those questions are asked, and maybe do the reports, pull the reports from the contact center, wherever else you've got them, and you can find out how much time is being spent on those. And that's a real quick return on investment calculation here. And it's really simple. It's the number of FAQ inquiries per month that could be handled by a bot times the average handling time for the call. I say it's simple because it's only a time-saving based calculation, and it doesn't look at infrastructure costs. They may or may not be relevant. That's fair enough, as freeing up agents from FAQ services will allow the organization to introduce more complex services. But what are the benefits of these new services? And those are worth thinking about as well. How do you, could you improve your customer service, and how can you quantify that? Software ROI. We all want to provide a great service, but we all have restrictions too. And quite often, those restrictions are down to the number of bums on seats. You know, it's hard to say it in any other way. Perhaps you survey your customers, and if you do you ask these questions? How upset are your customers getting simply waiting for their calls to be answered? Or waiting for an answer that they feel should have been much easier to get. They could have gone on the website, they could have asked a bot, but they can't. They're not perhaps using the language that your website search engine uses, which has to be really definitive. But a bot can be different to that. A bot you can ask a human question of it using natural language and get that, get a quality answer back. And you can ask the same question in many ways. So slight aside there. So coming back to the soft ROI. How discouraging is this for your own staff? Are you losing agents from regularly having to deal with upset customers? How frustrated do staff get answering repetitive inquiries? Consider the cost of training new staff and the benefits of retention. Do agents always know the answers, and how often are they getting them incorrect? And are mistakes likely to cause significant issues? Are those issues losses of people or money? What's the consequences of getting the information wrong? And a little bit more about FAQ answering on the agent support side. do agents always know the answers to those not so regular questions? How easy is it for them to find the answers? And how often are they getting them incorrect? So is this frustrating for them? Is it difficult for them to find the answers? And is it time consuming and therefore putting your customers on hold for a long time as well? How would it help your onboarding process and timeline in terms of shortening it to have a single source of truth for your agents to go to as well? Now, I've got a little question for Pat here, and that's maybe, Pat, you've got some answers or examples of where a bot's shown significant reduction in the amount of time to bring staff online. You know, generally, how long can we expect an improve, or what sort of improvement can we expect? Over to you, Pat.
Yeah, thanks, Rich. We see the bot being able to, inside the business, very much help the contact center not only deliver consistent and accurate answers, but also allow the contact center to reduce the time to competency. And what I mean by that is, and we've got a number of customers that use our system on the desktop for the contact center agents, using us as a AI-driven knowledge management system. And so where new agents might take, in some cases, 6, maybe even 8 months to get fully competent, we see those customers bringing online their new contact center staff into the front line to answer calls within 3 or 4 weeks, because they've got the bot there to rely on. They can ask questions. And so that ability to bring your agents up to a competency level, because they've got the bot there that they can just ask the question into the bot, just like they're hearing it on the phone, and the bot will bring up a consistent and an accurate answer, is really important to getting them on the phones quicker. But looking at ROI, or the quantifying the value, just to sort of come back and confirm what you were talking about, Richard, there's the hard ROI and the soft. And so the hard ROI, we'll talk about now, the cost savings that you can get, but there's also a lot of benefit in the soft savings that you get, the customer experience that you can create. And we'll talk a little bit about that as well. Typically, when you're deploying a new bot, you would expect to have the costs of the bot covered through savings within the first 12 months. A lot of our customers see it much quicker than that as well. So we can get the bot up and running, get it paying for itself within 12 months. We normally see contact deflection starting at 20 to 30%, but it can grow much bigger than that, depending on which channels you're looking at. And also, key is how much integration we can develop. And I'll talk a little bit about that as well. But as a starting point, 20 to 30% contact deflection. So that's saving your agents time, allowing them to work on the more complex, allowing them to work more with understanding the complex problems and spending that with connecting with people, while the bot deals with all that sort of small FAQ stuff coming through. Typically, we achieve accuracy of over 95%. We normally typically achieve that within the first 2 months of operation. Think of a bot, the bot learns as it starts working. Our system is uniquely able to learn with a combination of neural net, which is AI technologies, plus, because we've been around for a long time, we have NLP, which is the older style but pattern matching system. Our system combines the both. The pattern matching gives you accuracy that you just can't get with pure AI, but the AI component allows you to start quickly by giving it training or sample data that it learns from. Using the two together gives you that ability to get accuracy very quickly. As we'd already talked about, average call handling times can be, your agents can get the benefit of not only quicker competency, but by putting a virtual agent or conversational AI capability on their desktop, we can reduce the call handling time significantly. And it's not just the time that the agent, because they can access information quicker, but also we've got customers that use our systems and where the member or the user will escalate through the bot to the agent. But through that escalation process, we can collect vital information like we do with customers like IKEA and Sony. We get the bot to collect the key bits of information, even maybe create a ticket. So by the time it gets to your customer service agent, we've already done a lot of the hard work, and the chat then ends up with a person to person, and your agent can then again look more at the soft things rather than go straight to the customer. Tell me your member number, tell me this, tell me that. The bot's done all that for them before it gets to them. Again, reducing your average handle time. And of course, if you are already escalating or you've already got live chat deployed on your website, we can certainly reduce that. In fact, a little story, a major grocery store, a national grocery store here in Australia, they had live chat. Their live chat was over 10 minutes to get to an agent. They deployed the bot within 2 to 3 weeks. They had reduced that to under 2 minutes. So not only had they reduced the number of chats to the live agents, but they had reduced the wait time, therefore benefiting the customer. That the experience that the customer got between a 2-minute wait and a 10-minute wait was a significant improvement. So these are the types of things that you can get through by deploying your bot. But if we go in here and we just look at another example, and again, it's good to pull out examples when you're trying to create a business case for this. So if we look at Rest Super, and we do have a great case study. If you want all the numbers on this, just ask Enghouse and they can provide you with the numbers in a really nice little case study. But the bot, within 2 months, we were accurate within 95%. That means that 95% of the questions we understood. Within 6 months, the member base, huge, overwhelming positive feedback. They basically were able to deploy the bot, have it answer simple questions, and I'll show you some of this in a minute, some of the things that we're able to do. When we deployed the bot, we also made sure the bot was able to use their existing digital assets, and I'll keep reinforcing that, because many businesses are spending a lot of money in creating digital self-service assets, whether that be online forms, online logged in areas. You know it, you've probably got it on your own websites. Getting users to access those and to find them, well, that's a whole different story, and that's where the bot can be really helpful, and I'll show you that in a minute. When Roger was deployed, they won a whole lot of innovation awards. I've got a couple of awards down there, but innovation, customer experience awards, and even now they continue to win awards and win recognition in the way that Roger, their bot's able to help their members find information quickly and accurately. Roger's serviced over 2.5 million questions since he was launched. Roger not only sits on the website, Roger is also in Google Home, so you can talk to Roger. Roger also sits on the agent desktop. So they have 3 different contact center areas, and all of them are able to give consistent and accurate answers with much reduced average handle time, because Roger, the conversational AI, sits on all the agents' desktops and is there supporting them. So what else can we look at when we create the business case? Well, creating a central source of truth. And that's what you're really doing when you're creating a bot. The bot, like with Rest, can be pushed out through your website, made available to your customers and members, can be made available through multiple different channels like Google Home, Alexa, Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp, WeChat, etc., and also available to your agents as a knowledge management system. We can use we call it an orchestration platform. We can reference and collect information like video libraries that you've got and bring that into the bot. Other forms and bring forms in, PDFs. These are all just clickable links that we can embed very easily into the bot. So effectively, we become an orchestration platform that allows you to quickly and easily build the capability that goes through not only to your customers but also agents, etc. And most people, you know, have all these different disparate systems, and it does become resource intensive. The business gets information out of kilter, and you're constantly trying to keep one section aligned and updated with another. If you have a single platform like us, it makes it much easier, makes it much simpler to keep it combined and keep it working for your business. So another thing that you should consider when you're quantifying the value is the insights that we can give. And again, the insights that we can give you are far more than you would get on a website. Say, for example, Google Analytics, it tells you where users click, how long between the clicks. What we're able to do is really show you through our analytics what topics people were asking about, right down to the individual questions that they were asking in certain parts of your websites. So we're able to show you exactly what your customers are asking, what they're thinking as they navigate through your website, maybe even navigate through other digital assets that you have. And that really becomes important information that creates insights into your user journeys, which is really important. A quick anecdote of that is that, again, one of our customers, they went live about 5 weeks ago now, and within the first week and a half, our reporting was showing a whole lot of great trends, what we were seeing, what their members and customers were doing. But what we were able to see very clearly on our system was that these particular customers, a big section of them, were having problems checking out. So they went into it was a retail brand, they went in, they created their shopping cart, but they weren't able to check out. And we could clearly see that in the bots, the comments, the questions people were asking, and we knew exactly where they were having that problem. And it was great when we went back to the customer, the business, and said, I was a bit worried actually, that thinking, oh gosh, there's some real negative stuff here. But they were so excited to see that. They said that they'd known they'd had this problem for a while. They couldn't put their finger on it, but our bot was able to show them precisely where the issue was and precisely which customers, what they were thinking when they were getting these problems. So that allowed them to elevate that as an issue within the business, which was great. So the insights that you're going to get into your customer journeys, your customers' thoughts, what they think on your website. The key thing I'd say there is you'll be amazed what you see, but be prepared to action it. If you're going to put a bot in place, you're going to see this information. You've got to be prepared to action it. Just like the example I was talking about before, they were absolutely prepared to action it. So you're about to build a bot, but oh, how hard is it going to be? And as the little graphic there says, boom. Let's open the covers and have a look at what's expected, because it's not really that difficult. So first of all, people say, well, customers don't like bots. And 4 or 5 years ago, that was true, because there were lots of very poorly deployed, poorly designed bots out there. But now our system gives you the tools, it gives you the capability to build very good bots. And the generation that we're seeing coming through, they would prefer to text. They would prefer to text at a time that suits them. They'd prefer to text without somebody having to make a telephone call. And this is really what customers want now. Lifestyles change. People do shift work. They get home at 9 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night. The contact center's closed, but they still want to contact you as a business. So all these changing ways that businesses work are meaning that you as an organization have to provide the tools, have to provide the self-service capability, and the bot is really good at doing that. So bot is part of a self-service strategy. First of all, don't try and pretend it's a person. Bots are better off, being up clear that they are a bot. bots take some time to learn, and they learn through repetition. So, don't overpromise. Let's start it up, get it going, but we will get you a bot that is delivering for your customers very quickly. And we also have within our system what's called a suggestion engine. So even if our bot's not able to answer the question directly, we can give the user suggestions of where they want to go, and we use those clicks through the AI to actually learn what customers want if the bot's not able to deliver that. So we're always learning. So first of all, customers do like bots these days. In fact, they expect them. Secondly, when you build your bot, and this is really important, you've got an Enghouse platform. We should be connecting the two together. I hate it when I'm in what we call sort of a dead end, or it's like a jail where your customers are using the bot, they're chatting with the bot, they get to a certain point, and the bot can't answer all questions. Sometimes they'll need certain things where they'll need to speak to a human. To be able to allow them to escalate in that same channel, that chat channel, is really important. And so connecting to your Enghouse chat platform, allowing your customers to chat with the bot, then escalate up to a live agent and get that sort of human-to-human interaction when they need it as well, is really important. So we really strongly recommend that when we deploy the bot, we connect it to your Enghouse chat, and so your customers can escalate when they need to. And we'll integrate that to your Enghouse contact center. And again, the analytics on this will show where the escalations are happening, and so you can identify where you can grow the knowledge base and build it out. So how much skill, what type of people do you need? PhDs in AI? Well, no, you don't. Let me talk a little bit about the type of resource and the time required. So when we build a bot, we'll normally, using our tool, the tool that we win all the awards for, we can go in and create a bot. Where we find most of our customers, what we'll do is we'll start them on that journey, we'll give them some training, and then they can take on as much of the ongoing services and update as they want. There is ongoing update. A bot does need to continue to be fed and nurtured, but you can either have us do that through Enghouse, or we can train your people up to do it. And we have a number of customers doing both, or a combination somewhere in the middle. But we would normally suggest a couple of your contact center agents. Maybe you've got a couple of real smart cookies inside your contact center. Why not give them the opportunity to grow their skills? We can train them on how to use our bot. They already know your content, and they can then build out the content in the bot. You don't need to be an AI PhD to do this. Our technology is built for business people, contact center people even, to go in there, create and update content. So what skills are needed? There are some technical skills needed. Often we'll provide those to you to create the UI embedded into your website. But the rest of it is just an understanding of your customers, what they want to know, how you want to create the answers, the tone of voice that you want to create in those answers. And all of that can be done within your business. Timelines to deploy, normally 2 months is, if you're a bank, maybe we'll need a little bit more for security on infrastructures and connections, but 2 months is a good timeline to deploy. Managing it, you can have us manage it, but we're more often than not, we'll train our customers and they'll manage it. For example, IKEA, they manage everything themselves at the moment. They're doing a wonderful job with their bot. And the last bit is avatar creation. So this is the little picture of, is it Roger? Is it going to be Billy, like I'm going to show you in a minute from IKEA? Well, that's up to you. We're seeing a trend where in the US and other areas, they don't normally have avatars. They'll just give you the bot. Where in Asia, we see it go the other way. They have a lot of animation in their avatars and a lot of, I guess, interpersonal interactions through this picture. They'll create a little backstory. It's up to you how you want to project your brand values, what you want to do, whether you want an avatar or not. But we would work with your creative people, your digital people, and build an avatar if needed into the system. Very easy to do. So Ongoing maintenance. I talked a little bit about this before. There is certainly more work up front to get the system up and running. We will normally work with you as an organization. You might allocate a project manager and a couple of people from the contact center to create content, update content. But as time goes by, the BAU, the amount of time required does drop down. Maybe 2 or 3 days a month, you might allocate somebody to it. Unless you're creating new content and adding new content, that's normally what happens. You'll see other parts of the business go, oh, I need the bot to be helping with this, and you'll see new projects spring up with new content creation. But the BAU side, business as usual, the amount of effort drops down significantly. And again, you can use your own people. We'll train them up and support them, or you can use us to do it. The skills needed really are just people who understand your customers, understand the questions that they're asking, and can put together the answers that we're going to deliver. It's managed by either yourselves or us, and that sort of continuity can blend between us, but it's always good to have you guys managing the content, and gives you a lot of continuity, not only with the bot, but also inside your business. So let's take a quick look at a couple of systems. I'm going to just show a little bit of a few sites, 3 in particular. I'm going to show you a little bit of each of them. So Roger for REST, and again, the case study sits on our website if you want, or you can get it through Enghouse. Get the stats behind this. I could ask a question directly into Roger, but let me just say hello to Roger and I'll bring him up. You can see here we've got little ghost writing. We're always encouraging the user to ask a particular question, carry on the conversation. In this case, for example, I could be filling in a form and I need to know the USI. It's a particular number. Every superannuation system has it. Roger's superannuation is a bit like KiwiSaver in New Zealand, but I could just ask Roger directly. I could say, what is your USI? Roger understands the intent of the question and directly answers me. So this is great. 11 o'clock at night, I don't need to ask one of their service agents. He's not only given me the USI, but he's given me other information I might need, like ABN, etc., the other information that I might need when I'm filling in the form. So as I go through filling in the form, it says, would you like some more fun details? I go, oh, yeah, actually, I do need some more details. So I click here, and Roger automatically navigated me. I'm not sure if you saw that, but he navigated me to an area where there's more details, which is great. I can now access these extra details all here for me. So Roger's utilizing the digital assets. Again, you'll see that over and over again. A good bot should be leading your customers, your members, to the digital assets you've already invested in. Here, he's also saying, I might need a letter confirming REST is a complying super fund. Oh, yeah, I'm going to need that. So let me click on that. He tells me a little bit about what that is. And then I can just, on the letter of compliance, click there and bingo. I can now download that if I wanted to. And he's giving me the letter of compliance. Again, all the service here that Roger's giving me is helping me through, navigating me, giving me answers, but also navigating me to the right assets on the website. So much quicker, so much more efficient than an agent. Now, you can see down here, he's also predicting what is the next best action. We do this a lot also with the contact center agents. The bots looking at the questions I've asked and predicting where I might want to go next, trying to extend that conversation out. We do that a lot as well. Just like a human, the bot wants to help the user continue that conversation to find the next thing that they might not even know that they want to know yet, but we're trying to help them find that. So that's sort of, typical questions and answers. Sometimes you want the bot, though, to be able to talk around a particular subject. Sometimes you want the bot to project brand values. I'm going to show you a little bit of that now. If I say, for example, to Roger, I could say, do you have a girlfriend? And in this case, he understands what I'm talking about. And he says, I'm glad you asked. There is someone special in my life. Oh, okay. So I could say, who is it? And Roger says, well, Rachel's my girl. I can say, why her? Anyway, you can see the team here, when they built it, they had a bit of fun. And I really recommend that when you create a bot, have a bit of fun, have some things behind it that project your brand values. Allow your customers to talk to the bot. They're going to ask it all sorts of questions, and we call that small talk, and you can set that up on the system very easily. And you can build that out as much as you like to project your brand values. But the reason why I wanted to show you this was not to show you the small talk, but to say what we call a topic-based conversation. When I asked about his partner, his girlfriend, I could continue asking questions without specifically saying, who is your girlfriend? Or why is Rachel your girlfriend? Why her? I could just talk around a topic. Now, you could do the same thing if a person's asking about a warranty claim. The person might be asking about a bank deposit rate. Customer could be asking about a ticket they've created. The bot should maintain the thread, and that's really important here. So the bot's able to maintain the thread of the topic. It understands what I'm talking about. And just to show you that this is real, if I close down that bot, I go back through here, open up a brand new session with the bot. So this is brand new. And if the first question I ask the bot is, who is it? Straight off the bat, like a human, without context, Roger doesn't know what I'm talking about. I didn't understand your question when I said, who is it? And so having a bot that can create a very human-like conversation and maintain a context is really important in achieving the customer experience, achieving those ROI returns that you want. And in this particular case, he didn't understand what I was talking about, but he is suggesting other things. So the bot's coming up with these suggestions based on the conversation I've had so far. And the bot will continue to do that. And this bot is linked to their contact center. So if I ask, say, just a silly question or just garbage there, the bot understands that he hasn't been able to give me an answer twice now, and now he's offering me to escalate to a live agent. I won't do that now, but that would escalate to the live agent. Your agents could be sitting on your Enghouse CC, and the agents would receive the context of the conversation, so they'll know exactly the transcript and see what I've been talking to the bot about and be able to seamlessly take that conversation over. So I just want to show you that. I'm going to bring you a little bit closer to home now. I'm going to have a quick look at, when I say closer to home, a project that we've done just recently. And so we deployed IKEA Australia, and they've got their bot, Billy. And so Billy's really great at helping you understand warranty, understand those instructions that you don't understand, how they work, their COVID policies, returns policies, all those types of things. But what we saw in our analytics was that a whole lot of people on the IKEA website were giving those really strange IKEA names, or even just saying beds, tables, which is sort of really hard for a bot, because the word beds is not an intent. It's not saying, I'd like to do this. It's basically, you can see that they were sort of doing a bit of search through Billy. So that came up in our analytics. So what we did is a little bit of work with IKEA, and this is very easy for us to do, is to integrate it with their catalog. So if I say beds, which would normally be a bit of a killer for a bot, Billy says, I know you're looking for beds, but I didn't quite understand. Here are some popular suggestions. And you can see that we've integrated their catalog very nicely into the conversation here. So we're continuing that conversation. We've also integrated a bit of their search. So we're looking at related search terms here. So that, again, trying to suggest to the customer what they might want. But in this case, that bed looks quite nice to me. So I click on it, have a bit look at it. I can view it on their website if I want. Remember, we talked a little bit about leveraging existing assets. But in this case, I might just go through, I want to check, see if it's available. So I can just check that it's available. Tempe is my local store. So I'll just check the Tempe store. And yes, there's 4 in stock. So you could see there we went from a conversation that could have quite easily gone into a bit of a dead end, just through a little bit of integration, and the integration we got through the insights of our reporting, and it's building out the bot. And that little journey alone has created a much stronger experience and brought customers into using Billy a lot more, and therefore the ROI of Billy. So Billy was built originally, the ROI was built on him doing 60 concurrent conversations at one point. I can tell you he does about 400 concurrent conversations at the moment on during the weekends, which is great. Just takes a huge load off their contact center staff. So last one I'm going to show you is Transport for New South Wales. So Transport for New South Wales have their bot sitting there. You can ask it all sorts of questions. You can do some great things with it. They've been, again, when we first went live, we had 4 weeks to get it live, but then we grew the capabilities over time. We also deployed it into Facebook Messenger. We deployed it into Google Home. We deployed it into all sorts of different channels. But what I want to show you just briefly is what that user journey looks like when we put it into Messenger. So the same bot that we deployed on the website, we also put into Facebook Messenger. So again, when you're building your ROI, it's not just about your customers interacting with you on your website. Think about your customers that can interact with you through Messenger, through voice platforms like Google and Alexa. You're offering your customer a much wider range of interaction types. So I'm just going to go into Transport for New South Wales. Exactly the same bot underneath this. It's just that we're optimizing through the Facebook Messenger, and we're doing, because we can optimize based on the channel, here we can give these little carousels, and you can see that it's almost like a menu. It's a great experience. And I can do all sorts of things here. And I won't go through all the details, but I'm going to show you a couple of things. So like a normal bot, I can ask it a question, like I can say, can I take my pram on the ferry? So you'll guess that I'm Sydney-based, New South Wales Transport, going on the ferries. Here the system understands the intent and it gives me an answer about taking ferries. So bingo, I've got an answer straight away. It does know that there's more information available, so I can just tap with my finger on the safety guidelines and it brings up more information from the safety guidelines, which is fantastic, utilizing their existing digital assets. Now, I might be a little bit more sophisticated here because we've integrated over time with a number of their APIs. So I can say, for example, I want to travel from Central to Wynyard. In this case, the bot understands the intent. It knows that when I say Central, I mean Central Station. When I say Wynyard, I mean Wynyard Station. And what it does here is it brings me up a number of options I have. It gives me this little carousel. I can just use my finger to go through it, and I can see the different options I've got there. And I can then show the trip plan. If I tap on show the trip plan, it brings up the trip plan for me in real time. It tells me that it's on time. We introduced for COVID how much space is available. Great little feature for COVID. So now you can see how packed it's going to be, the cost. I can even look at it on the map, view it on a map where that journey is going to be. So it gives me lots of information. But I can also now tell the bot I want to subscribe to that alert. So I can say, okay, I could call it my trip to work every morning. I could give it information like which days I travel, what I'm interested in getting alerted in. And now the bot remembers my preferences. So the bot can quickly surface things for me. It can even remind me or notify me if there's going to be a delay on my journey. So again, think of the experience that you're creating, the value and the ROI that this generates for your customers, because it's not just locked into one channel. It's about providing them with information on the channel of their choice. And from here, we can also escalate back through to live chat. Here we integrate with their Salesforce. They do have a Salesforce system. We can create a ticket, but we can also integrate to their chat to somebody. So again, I just want to show you some of that information. Anyway, I'll hand over to you, Rich.
Thanks very much for that, Pat. That's really interesting. I always enjoy seeing the bots in action and how well they work. It's really impressive. So that brings us to the end of our presentation today, the end of the webinar. Thank you very much for watching. And if you'd like to take this a little bit further, please get in touch with us on hello@apac@enghouse.com. And Pat and I would be happy to go through what you've seen today, perhaps on a more personal basis, and answer any questions that you've got, and take a look at your operational requirements. Yeah, thank you very much. And thank you, Pat, and thank you, Barbara, for the introduction.
Thank you, Richard. And thank you to everybody.
Thanks everyone, and that ends our webinar, and we will be sending out the recording or making it available on our website and the slides, so we look forward to hearing from you if you have any questions. Thank you, Richard. Thank you, Patrick, for an excellent presentation. Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.